Ah, it's going.
Okay. It's Rebelqueen,
Albion. Very, very
and
tired Albion.
yeah, apparently he didn't sleep well and then took him a little nappy.
Hmm.
But okay, as we have kind of discussed, we did our starting assessment on WandaVision, then we had that little midpoint thing after the Halloween episode that they had, and then now we're doing our series finale discussion.
Yeah. Basically our series overview, I guess you
Yeah.
could call it.
Yeah, which um after this whole thing, I kind of see where they kind of went with it in terms of the comic, taking from the comics, because
Hmm.
especially when they introduced that white vision,
Yeah.
because basically in the comics at one point Vision did get destroyed,
Hmm.
and they did create like a white vision, and to well, white vision did get created, so
Hmm.
and he didn't have any of his memories, so
Yeah.
which is where they kind of came up with how they reintroduced him.
Yeah.
And eventually he did get his memories back, so they just kind of quickly redid that process where Wanda's created Vision went, oh no, the data's still there, they're just keeping it from you, so he just brought all those memories back.
Yeah.
So we
So
may see him again in the future
yeah, so Vision's
movies
back.
stuff.
We'll probably see him later on.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how soon he'll get his color palette back.
Yeah.
Because eventually in the comics, he does get his color palette back.
Yeah. So we have Vision's back. He'll he's still kind of been bleached a bit, but he's back. Agatha Harkness got a very interesting situation happened to her.
Oh, I'm still I'm still kicking myself in the butt for that one. I mean, granted they called her Agnes, but I'm still kicking myself in the butt for that one because that should have been a massive thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as she got uh, introduced, I went, "Oh my god, how did I not see that?" Because
I love the little intro they did for her. It was Agatha all along thing. The little monsters
oh, they were actually
opening.
talking about that this morning on the GMA. Well, not GMA View, and they were talking about it. It's like, oh, they apparently had to zoom in for when she had to do her little part, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Do your like inner karaoke Pat Benatar thing," and she's like, "It was just funny."
But yeah, the series whew.
It was good, and it set up a lot of
Mm-hmm.
stuff for future down the line, like especially like whenever we do get whenever they do possibly do like a Young Avengers, because her and Vision's two twin sons, they do
Mm-hmm.
play a key part in the Young Avengers
Yeah.
uh, stuff. Um, so it's like it's going to be interesting, like how they actually managed to bring them back, because their two twin sons are Wiccan and Speed of the Young Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it'll be interesting to see how they manage to bring them back.
Yeah. Also, we got an answer to about that Pietro.
Yeah.
Kind of a funny little thing there.
Yeah, but like I said, I was when it got revealed that Agnes was Agatha. Like I said, I was kicking myself in the butt for that one. But then again,
Yeah.
I'm also kind of forgiving myself a little bit for that one because in all the comic stuff, and even in the
At least the ones
uh,
you've seen, because I've seen some pictures of her in the comics, and there have been a few where she's actually been young.
yeah, well, yeah, for all the comics and cartoon stuff I've seen of her, she's generally been like the wizened old witch who
Mm-hmm.
helps Wanda with for her more mystical stuff when her mutant power, when her hex probability, when her hex probability mutant abilities haven't really been an issue. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's why I'm kind of giving myself a little bit of a break on that. But it's like, yeah, they really did kind of flip the switch a bit for Agatha by turning her into the villain for this.
Yeah.
Because in most of the Marvel stuff, she's generally been a good guy who's been on the same page of like pretty much like pretty much been like another mystical advisor for like with Doctor Strange and stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's been
Well,
like maybe a, a small handful of other storylines where she's been like a bad guy or stuff, like
yeah.
very small handful.
And we went through some bits and stuff of Wanda's uh life. Through little clips, and we see all the different sitcoms that she likes to watch, which were all the sitcoms that they referenced throughout the show.
Yeah, and
Dick Van
then
Dyke, I Love Lucy, Bewitched, apparently the Munsters, Malcolm in the Middle. So it was a bunch of different ones, but it was very nice to see the parts of her life, and you're just like, ah, okay, so that's her coping mechanism. Sitcoms.
well, especially it's understandable considering like all the stuff that was going on in her childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So with her country being war torn, at least um in this pretty much iteration of her storyline, so it's
Yeah,
understandable.
war torn is understatement when the mother looks out the window and there are people fighting right outside in basically the front yard.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable given the at least in this version of her of Wanda's life. So,
hmm So, but
but that ending, I mean, when she pretty much like had all the stuff come up, I'm like, oh my god, that's pretty much like something you would expect out of pretty much the movie universe, and they pulled it
yeah,
off for this TV series.
it's something you expected for one of the movies, not a TV series that even though it is part of the movies the movie universe, it just so that in the ending was pretty cool, and it showed that she's learning things.
Yeah, but that that guy who's in charge of Sword with how he was like, oh no, we're just gonna pretty much blame this all on Wanda, and then we have this White Vision who he's pretty much just gonna be a weapon. I'm
hmm
like, you fucking a hole. It's
hmm So
like, a that's not what Vision wanted, and but he's going to try and get away with it anyway because Stark is dead,
yeah,
and also because of pretty much what happened with Wanda beforehand before she joined the Avengers, and it's like, you fucking a hole.
hmm
It's like, and because and like all the other event and all the other pretty much main players are pretty much busy trying to do other stuff right now, so it's like they really
yeah,
can't come in and do stuff to help out.
right. Well, oh, and Wanda got her costume.
Yeah,
I liked it. It looked nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
'cause like
Apparently, Wanda's costume was tied to her powers.
it with the way they're kind of setting things up, considering it really worked out. Because I mean, even with how they set things up for her abilities and how they want Wanda to pretty much be part of Doctor Strange's movie, it worked
Mhm.
out. So,
Yeah.
because I mean,
Also, uh, the whole thing where Wanda's like the little what would you count that crown, the mask or whatever? I it,
I'm not really sure. Because I mean,
her head ornament, basically. The whole thing. So at parts during the final fight, the magic kind of formed her head ornament, and then at the end, it actually just turned into her full costume. It makes me wonder because when they showed Agatha's backstory, and they showed her mother trying to be part of her execution, that little magical head ornament thing showed up on the mother. I'm a little curious to know what the mother's costume would have been if she actually went all out and let the magic make the costume.
That's a question for another day, because I mean, there was still some familial love for Agatha, because even though her mother was still kind of like going, you need to be held accountable for your stuff because this isn't right, but
Right.
at the same time she was still kind of it's her child. She didn't want to have to do it.
Yeah. And
even then, during that whole fight sequence with Wanda, at the same time, the ornament was at the time still kind of appearing, but at the same time, she still didn't want to give in to the power. But Agatha pretty much
kind of forced her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with Agatha going at the end of that one episode, going through her life was pretty much like going, I figured it out. You're the thing that isn't supposed to is only myth and legend. You're the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
What you're doing is chaos magic. And then is pretty much like, just give your power to me, honey.
Yeah. I'm just whenever they were for some reason throughout the entire time they were doing that fight and they were mentioning chaos magic, I just mentally kept hearing Shiogaroth from Marvel vs. Capcom. Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Whenever he does his level 3 ultimate move, which was the Chaos Dimension, I just heard him yell out, "The Chaos Dimension!"
Yeah, but it's still kind of like how she's like, just give your, and then during that whole fight, and Wanda's like, you know what, take it, and she's like, and then finally she's like, and Agatha's like, ha 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 ha,
Yeah.
And then tries to fling off spells and like, what, and then sees all the runes, and Wanda's like, says the same little words to her that she said in the basement, and
yeah,
like,
the runes.
Thanks for the
and I kind of
quick learner.
To be fair, I saw the runes kind of coming because during that whole thing, she missed a few shots, and I'm going, okay, the other person's trying to absorb the magic. Certainly, she wouldn't be missing this many. Certainly, she wouldn't be trying to dodge these shots. So, Wanda's doing these misses on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course and then the big transformation, and she's like, "You pushed me way too far."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then towards the end there, we kind of get like the little a little bit of a teaser towards the Captain Marvel 2, because kind of like what we all thought.
Yeah, there's a mid credit and end credit scene in this one.
Yeah, because kind of like what we all thought. Rambo gets her powers in this. So one of the agents turns out to be a Skrull, and she's like, an old friend of your mom sent me down, heard you've been grounded, wants to pull you up for something, and she's like, what? And then the Skrull points up, and like, oh.
Yeah, I'm like, that whole setup with the movie theater, I'm like, and this is where Nick Fury shows up. And it's a Skrull, old friend of your mother. I'm like, close enough. So
like that.
Fury's
Yeah, that pretty much teases into Captain Marvel too, from what
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
yeah. Fury is doing something with sword, apparently.
Yeah, so but from my best guess is probably during the whole Captain Marvel 2 thing, I'm guessing Carol's probably going to help Rambo get a better handle on her new abilities.
Yeah. Also, I think Ms. Marvel is supposed to show up in Captain Marvel too.
Uh, from some reading I did, yeah, it
Yeah.
also sets
Although
the stage for
they're going to introduce her into her own Disney Plus series, so
yeah.
that will happen first, and then she'll show up in Captain Marvel too.
Yeah, we've also got like She-Hulk,
Hmm.
Hawkeye, and a bunch of other stuff in their own series.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So,
but that's like later on down the line.
oh yeah, yeah. But all in all, I like the WandaVision series. It was pretty good. It was nice, and these last three episodes were
Oh,
very
and the end credit scene actually showed Wanda like in a hut in wherever, and it's like it was like two parts. She was like showed the first part like showed her like relaxing. Kettle goes off, she gets tea, and then it's like it goes back into like the back room, and we see her in the Scarlet Witch
costume, and
outfit,
she's studying the book. I think Agatha
the Book
called
of
it the Book
Damned,
of the Damned.
and we hear the screams of her children. So that that's actually
That might be something to do with Doctor Strange.
yeah, because part of part of kind of the stuff that actually happened with in the comics with her twins was actually when she originally got pregnant with them, their souls were originally part of a greater demon.
Mephistopheles.
Yeah, and he had tricked a guy into reclaiming the pieces of his soul,
Hmm.
thinking that it was actually this guy's soul.
Yeah,
So when he actually reclaimed all the pieces, the guy was like, "Wait, something doesn't feel right," and it was actually just the demon's soul. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. Kitty's Mephistopheles sent a person on a quest to hunt demon souls.
so so the Doctor Strange sequel that we know Wanda is going to be a part of could,
Have
in some,
something to do with Mephistopheles. There's a chance that he might show up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of up in the air at this point since we know, since everything is still, since that movie is still,
It's up in the air since the because a lot of those early before Iron Man stuff, Marvel basic a lot of the old Marvel stuff was like divided between different studios. And I'm pretty sure like Blade, Ghost Rider, and all the Ghost Rider stuff is returned back to Marvel, but you never know. I
yeah.
think wasn't Ghost Rider Sony?
Uh,
If it was Columbia Pictures, it was Sony or Paramount.
yeah,
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 it's
because
not that's Sony.
yeah, because Nick Cage played Ghost Rider in both those original movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but mm, they didn't actually. It's a little hard to tell on that second one if that would count because they never really used any like character names other than the Ghost Rider of on the second movie.
Johnny, they kept the character name as Johnny Blaze, and
I
he
know that, but I mean like other than Ghost Rider, they didn't really do say, "Oh, yeah, that's Mephistopheles," or
no, they used Mephistopheles.
in the second movie.
I never saw the second movie, so I can't say for sure.
I did see the second movie. They didn't. They just said he's the devil. They never said he was Mephistopheles.
Well, in the first one, they did use
I know
Mephistopheles.
they. I'm not. The one I'm concerned about is the second one because the second one is the closer one.
Well, generally, the two were still kind of connected because Johnny was still kind of dealing with all the shit.
They were
So,
connected, but very loosely.
yeah.
Let's be honest. It was very, very loosely. It's the equivalent of being connect of the first Punisher movie being connected to the second Punisher movie.
I haven't really seen the Punisher movies, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, the first one was cartoony and everything. The second one was one when they were trying to do those Marvel Knights things to try to be darker and more gritty, and they the characters show up, but and they're connected, but it's like the loosest kind of connection you could ever.
Connection.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. So it's like so everything is kind of like 50-50 in regards to like how things are going to be for the Wanda connection
Mm-hmm.
for when we finally
I
get the
think that's
Doctor
been
Strange
over like 7 or so years, so it might not even matter.
for the connection since the Doctor Strange movie isn't going to come out until like sometime in 2022.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's been over five. It's been like 5 or more years or something since that last Ghost Rider. So I don't think it matters anymore.
Yeah, so we won't have any more details until we start getting those trailers in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
So
and even then we'll as we get more of the content more of the uh, from more of the other MCU stuff that starts coming out, we'll start getting a little bit more info because it's like well of like what all is happening in the world because it's like well because it's like when we finally actually get the Black Widow movie, we'll see a little bit more of the information there because actually in the Black Widow movie, one of from what little information I know, um, I think Natasha has actually set up somebody else to take over the Black Widow title for her if something was to happen.
yeah. So
Because that actually does happen in the comics.
yeah. So we're a little behind in the Marvel stuff because of the
COVID.
year that never was.
And then we actually do know that they've set up the stuff for the third Spider-Man movie, so
Mm-hmm.
No Way Home. So that's going to be interesting. And
Yeah.
since we now have at least one of the Netflix Marvel stuff, we now have rights to that. At least,
Mm-hmm.
well, MCU has rights to that. We're hoping.
Yeah, no, we're not making Marvel things. Sorry, we're not going around dressed up, doing high production Marvel shit.
Yeah, we're hoping that maybe the MCU can. Uh, there is talks that the MCU can possibly uh, drag in the Daredevil franchise again now. Now
Mm-hmm.
that Netflix doesn't have the rights to them anymore,
Yeah.
because there have been some talks going on that they possibly can go. Uh, that they're in talks with the guy who played Matt Murdock slash Daredevil in that series, possibly get him to come into that movie and possibly reprise his role.
Yeah.
Is no word yet if he'll actually be donning the red suit.
Yeah.
Uh, that if he does reprise his roles, that so far it'll probably be only as Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
If he
Although this does bring up an interesting situation for that Spider-Man movie because that I just thought of. Um, so the rumors were that it was like going to be have like the Sam Raimi Peter Parker and then the reboot Peter Parker. So Tommy Maguire and what was the second guy's name? Uh,
Tom,
not Tom Holland.
I
That's
know that's the guy we
uh,
got right now.
we'll think of it.
Oh,
Like, well,
Garfield something.
yeah, but uh, That I just saw some weird, stupid thing where, well, since Toby's showing up, does that mean Bruce Campbell is having a random cameo?
Yeah, but yeah, it's like there have been like some rumors going around that we'll probably get him in as like the legal defense for Peters because of all this stuff going on, like from what happened at the end of Far From Home. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna be fun. But
but
all in
since
all, the
since
WandaVision thing.
Albion just brought it up, like there has been rumors going around that we possibly might get this whole like Spider-Verse situation going.
3 movie Spider-Man showing up in one movie, and you're just like, and I'm just like, so if that guy's showing up, does that mean we're getting Bruce Campbell?
it it's still all like very rumor-esque, but it's like it would be very interesting because
Yeah, it's one of those things where a lot of people like the Sam Raimi ones, some people like the other two, and then I think most people like the Tom Holland ones too. So
to be honest, I did like the original three. They opened up
they were
the door.
comic cheese corny. They're nice and funny, but they're very comic book cheese,
Yeah,
especially like um early days comic book cheese.
yeah, because like that's when we were kind of still opening up the doors for all this comic book.
The golden age of comic book cheese when Superman had a snake like a skeleton and could just vibrate his face fast enough to change what his face looked like to disguise himself.
And
That
then
is an actual thing.
and then the next two that we got that um they were okay. I never
I
saw the one
like
that had
them. Those weren't too bad, except for
I never saw the one with Electro. I'm sorry that
I have it's
there was a lot of stuff going on, so I never got a chance to see it.
I've heard some of the stuff that happened with Spider-Man 3 involving the reason why Venom is there, the reason why Harry is there are multiple villains in that one. I heard the story, and part of the reason for that was because the studio jumped in and said, "Why don't you do this?" Told Sam Raimi, "Why don't you put these characters in there too?" And kind of insisted. So the studio interfered on Spider-Man 3. Um, it feels that's what happened with that other Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. The studio interfered and wanted to get more villains in there than the movie
Yeah,
was able to handle.
it's like those those were good, and they as much as I like those were good, and as much as I like the other three, the original three that we got with Spider-Man,
Andrew Garfield.
Gar- I was right. The Andrew Garfield ones were definitely a step up because we actually had more. We had actually upped our game with the superhero stuff since we had more time and more technology to go with, especially when it concerns like the Spider-Man stuff. Considering all the web slinging and especially with his um, eclectic rogues and their
That's one way to put
backstories.
it.
But then but at that point we'd already started getting the MCU universe, so it's like
Yeah, it's by the time the Andrew Garfield one happened, we were getting the MCU, at least the
yeah.
early stages. So I
So it was
think,
kind of like let him go, let the end, let Marvel universe have him, so we can get a since they've proven they can drop these guys and have a really good blockbuster and
yeah. Well,
incorporate it into a bigger universe.
when did the second one come out? Uh, so the Sam Raimi movies went on to 2007. The The Amazing Spider-Man first one came out in 2012. And the sequel, if I can get to it faster. And the sequel came out in 2014. So
We had already dropped Iron Man and at least
yeah, it's trying. I'm trying to figure out, did the first Avengers was the first Avengers movie out by 2014, or was it still, they still building up to it?
I think it was already out at that
Yeah,
point.
I think it was out too.
Cause
Yeah, because the first Avengers came out the same year that first Amazing Spider-Man came out.
yeah, because we'd already dropped Iron Man, at least Iron Man 2.
Yeah, so it
With
was Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Hulk, Captain America, and Thor.
yeah, so Marvel Cinematic Universe had proven they could link all these different movies in a
Yeah,
big cinematic
and they had
universe
also proven that they were going to keep them all connected to each
with
other.
each other.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. Anyway, uh, yeah, the WandaVision stuff. That we got off topic
Well, not really, considering
a little
technically.
bit, just a smidge. We kind of took a little detour somewhere.
Well,
We went somewhere over the rainbow.
not really, considering the WandaVision is just like a bigger part of this whole thing, and we were talking like how they're going. The WandaVision is leading into this. What is leading into this next movie
Mm-hmm.
from the last little end credits scene, and
Yeah.
how
Anyway, but yeah, no, WandaVision was good. I it's one of those things that now that it's finished, there's a chance I might actually just go, you know what? Let me watch it from beginning to end, start to finish, and now and so I don't have to wait a week between episodes. refresh refresh myself next week before the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
yeah, which that is going to be now that we finished WandaVision and MCU has proven that they can do this in a small
Small
television series.
setting. This is
Uh,
going to be interesting
yes,
because the Falcon and Winter Soldier seems to be a slightly bigger setting.
yeah, well, especially considering it's kind of from a little bit of research. Apparently, it's kind of more like they're all dealing with like a bit of family issues and all that, and also
Mm-hmm.
Falcon is dealing with the fact he's having to
Take over for Cat.
pretty much he's taking on the mantle of Captain America while still being Falcon, and apparently from a little bit of my digging, Buddy finds out he has a granddaughter.
Mm,
So he's having to deal with family issues.
yeah, yeah. Well, to be fair, this also involves the government going, no, no, no. Falcon's not our next Captain America. This guy is, and we are introduced to U.S. agent
Hmm. Yeah, but and then they kind of have
who I um I definitely don't have who I definitely have a lot of knowledge about, and don't only know that he exists just because of Marvel vs. Capcom 1, because he is an assist in Marvel vs. Capcom 1.
yeah though apparently
That is so not the reason I know he exists, and the only reason I know he exists.
don't feel bad. Some of these don't feel bad. Some of the with as diverse as the Marvel universe is, sometimes you find these characters just like from like little things like that, and you have to go hold up, and it's like
Yeah, I can't
yeah,
wait till, because I have a Marvel poster that I never got a chance to hang up. I guess whenever I move, I'll put that up somewhere. It has
yeah,
all the
you're
Marvel,
gonna have
has
to
all the
pack up that whole room again.
yeah, it has all it has all the Marvel characters, and if you look in the background, one of them is basically a green potato. I can't wait for the Marvel universe to introduce the green potato and explain who the hell this green potato is.
Green, but It could be like one of the Hulk things, because I mean,
No, I think it's actually something to do with the X-Men because it has that black X on it.
oh, I do know a lot about the X-Men because I watched that animated series quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure that character is so vague that they didn't put him in the cartoons because they have to explain a character that looks like a green potato.
you never know. They
True.
use so many of the they use so many of like the lesser known characters and stuff in the at least in the original animated
Yeah,
cartoon
true.
that you'd be surprised.
True. Well, all in all, WandaVision was good. Scratched that Marvel itch that we've been missing for the past year.
Yeah. Oh, and
So,
also another thing that we know with Falcon and Winter Soldier that we're going to be going into is that from
Baron
what little
Zemo.
that from what little they have kind of released is that part of what Falcon and Buddy are going to be going into is
Bucky.
that and dealing with aside from these anti-patriot flag smasher thing
Yeah,
that they're going to be dealing with is that they're also going to be dealing with this whole thing that is
Baron
uh
Zemo.
yeah, Baron Zemo, but they're also going to be dealing with this whole start of this whole weapon development program, which is going to probably link us into the whole
Yeah,
hope
mutants, X-Men
yeah,
kind
hopefully
of
starting
stuff where you're just like, weapon development. What number are they on?
yeah, hopefully this links us into the X-Men stuff so that we might hopefully sometime down into the MCU phases get us the weapon the mutant the X-Men movie.
well, here's the thing. In in I think the more recent trailer they did for it, they show them going to this one city, and I've heard somewhere that there's a chance that city might be, I don't remember the name of it, but it's like in the Marvel comics, it's one of these big like gambler, low life kind of area cities or something that happens to consistently be visited by a certain guy with metal claws. Yeah, so you know that's a thing.
Yeah, so or yeah, maybe maybe we could get a few pop-ins since as we kind of
Yeah.
discussed in a previous thing, Marvel now has the rights back to X-Men.
Yeah, yeah. It took them to go. It took them going to Disney. And go Disney, Mickey, my liege. Fox won't give us our shit back. and the mouse just went. Well, let's see how long that lasts. Oh. Didn't take long. You don't give the mouse what he wants. The mouse takes it by force.
Yeah, but as we did kind of bring up with some of the planned other Disney Plus series that they've got for the Marvel stuff, as we did kind of say, it's like some of the stuff they have planned. I'm actually kind of interested to see how they do the She-Hulk because
Yeah, that one I'm interested to see because it's it's an interesting situation, and also I'm kind of curious to know. Okay, so is it, are they going the same route they did in the comics where he just gave a blood transfusion?
yeah, they already have the actress. They've already got the actress for She-Hulk,
Mm-hmm.
and for those of you who don't know the comic situation, She-Hulk is actually Bruce Banner's cousin, and
Yes.
she was apparently in an accident or something, and she needed a blood transfusion.
Yeah.
And so Bruce gave her the transfusion, and
Well, it kind
well,
of had irradiated blood, and so she turned into a giant green woman. At which
green
point
skin, green hair, and basically, and also she is a lawyer, so
she
when
also grew like 2 or 3 feet.
basically she's an Amazon.
Yeah, Yeah, it's Marvel's best showing of an Amazon.
But she's also a lawyer, and so she's basically the go-to person for the superheroes to call when there's an issue.
Yeah, yeah. I feel sorry for anyone that goes against. I feel kind of sorry for people who go against her in as a lawyer, because I'm just questioning. Because in their minds they're just going, "Oh shit, isn't she Hulk's cousin?" And they just think of her cousin and going, "We don't want to make her angry." I know she's a lawyer, but still,
Well,
there's that
the
point in
thing,
their minds that they're like, "I should behave."
the thing is, unlike
Unlike her cousin, she actually has full control.
Control,
She
even
also
though
can't turn
even though
off the
she's in
powers,
a
but she has
even though
full
she's in a
control.
constant state, even though she's in a constant state of Hulk out.
Yeah. So
Even though
it,
in the most recent MC universe movies, apparently because of what happened with
there are a few times
Thanos,
that happens even in the comics, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah, even though
It
with
just depends on the
on stuff,
situation.
yeah, even though in the because of what happened with Thanos, Bruce and Hulk have pretty much come to an understanding, and Bruce is now in a constant state of Hulk out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Which is probably how they're going to play this out with how she gets into her situation.
yeah. Well,
Because she needed the blood transfusion and Bruce is her only family member, because he's in that constant state of Hulk
Hulk.
out, uh his blood did this to her. which
Yeah.
which is the only reason I can think of how they're going to play this.
Yeah. Well,
And we already know from the situation that the guy who the general, the guy who becomes
Thunderbolt Ross,
yeah, Ross, the guy who becomes the evil Hulk, he's gonna
Red
come
Hulk.
up in the series.
Yeah, Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Well, he's Red Hulk isn't even that much of an evil Hulk. He's just kind of this weird character that just kind of it plays to Ross's ego in a lot of ways because he's what the Hulk he wishes the Hulk was, a weapon for the military, but because he is the character, he kind of uses that to taunt Hulk and other things. So it's always a weird thing for Red Hulk.
Mm. Yeah, but we know they're all going to, and of course Bruce Banner is making his reappearance in the series, so
Mm-hmm.
and redoing his character, so
Yeah.
I mean
So
Mark Ruffalo. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting, and
yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, but all in all, I'm happy you want how WandaVision turned out. It gave a very nice ending moments with all the characters, and it sets up a very interesting Doctor Strange movie.
I found it interesting how she dealt with Agatha.
Yeah, that was actually kind of funny. Well, at least she knows where she is.
Yeah, basically after the whole fight with Agatha, if you haven't, she's like,
I'm putting a spoiler warning on this entire video. Don't worry.
yeah, basically she's like, okay, she's like, oh great, you're gonna throw me in a cell. It's like, nope, I'm gonna put you right back where you were, the role you chose for yourself, the
The
noisy,
noisy neighbor. The no.
nosy
The
neighbor,
no. The nosy neighbor.
neighbor, and pretty much goes, she's like, no. It's
Did
like,
did I mention I'm tired? So yeah, the nosy neighbor.
it's like,
So
and Agatha's like, no. It's like, yep, and
whoop. Mm-hmm.
it's like, and she just turns into Agnes, and she's like, no, you'll need me. She's like, then I'll know where you're at, and
Yeah. So it's it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting, but I think it turned out well. I think it turned out well.
yeah, because like I said, it pretty much proved that they can do smallish scale. Because
Yeah.
this still proved to be
Small-ish.
pretty
Yes,
big. Because
that's the key phrase there. Small-ish.
I mean, the first two episodes turned out to be 30 minutes, but then the rest of the episodes turned out to be like anywhere from 30 to 45.
Yeah. So you know, but all in all, it's yeah. I think it turned out well, and I'm looking forward to their next series.
Yeah, and then Loki is going to be interesting when it drops in June.
Yeah.
Which that one we've already got confirmation it's going to have a second season on.
Oh, great. Yeah, because we all need more Loki.
Well, from what I read with how that series is going to be done because
Set
of the
up.
whole time jumping thing, it's got to have a second season.
Yeah. From what I understand on the group that it introduces, yeah, there's no way it doesn't get away with it. Can't get away without a second season. But anything else you want to add?
Not really. Because I
Me
mean,
neither.
we can probably go on and on about the whole Marvel stuff. Which, oh God, with in regards to Marvel, one of the movies I'm looking forward to the most when they finally get to it is the Blade series.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Because I love the original three with
Wesley
uh,
Snipes.
yes, with Wesley Snipes as Blade. So, and that was before they even thought of doing the whole MCU stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we actually have an MCU,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like going, holy shit, how is this going to play out now?
I rewatched Blade Trinity a couple of nights ago, and I remembered Ryan Reynolds was in it. I forgot how much of a wise ass he was.
Because I'm kind of going, I wish they would kind of talk to Wesley Snipes and get him to actually redo his part, but I know that's probably not going to
that's not
happen.
that's not going to happen. They already cast Blade, so
Oh.
yeah. But when they announced Blade, they showed the guy that came out to for the announcement of Blade. He was the guy that they cast as Blade.
Oh, who'd they cast? I never saw that.
Uh, let me see. 1 minute.
Sorry, guys. It's, like I said, this was one of my favorite big action movies before they actually did like an MCU. So
Yeah. Where no, that's the wrong thing. Here we are. Um, Mar I'm going to destroy this name. Mahershala Ali.
I'm gonna have to look him up later.
Yeah, he he's been in quite um a few things that I think I've seen, but let's see. He was. Did you ever see the Hunger Games movies?
I saw the first one.
So I'm guessing not Mockingjay Part One or Two.
Unfortunately, I missed out.
Okay, because he was in that one. Oh, he voiced the Prowler in Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Then he's at least got a pretty decent voice. Then
did you ever see the Luke Cage series on Netflix?
yes.
Cottonmouth,
Which season was that?
the first one. He was the villain of the first season.
Oh, him.
Yeah,
Okay. Uh, damn.
yeah. So he's playing Blade.
Huh. Okay, then he might do pretty well.
Yeah. So there's a lot to look forward to in Marvel Universe. We just have to wait and be
Wait, and
patient
then yeah, because after all, COVID has not done us any favors.
and trek out to get our little needles in arms.
Well, as soon as we actually hit
As
the
soon as me and her are in the area of eligibility after they get to the next group of people.
heck, my mom and dad actually still have to go get their shots.
Yeah. We live in a state that's a little tricky to get a shot right now because of supply.
Supply, and then it's also, oh, you have to be in this particular designation zone.
Yeah, so.
Because it's like, and then it's also because, and then it's also, there have been idiots going like, oh, passing around like the registration queue, and then it's like they then go to the area. It's like, sorry, somebody else already had this registration number,
Mm-hmm.
or it's like we don't have any close areas to try and get to a vaccination area.
Yeah, well.
Because that's one thing that's been an issue for over here. Because it's like I think one of the closest areas has been like over.
I think it was like. Yeah, there have been a few. There have been a few areas that have been close. I know they've been having some issues on some things, but
Yeah, but I think like one of the
just.
closest areas over here has been like still like over a good 30 or so minutes or
Yeah.
something, and it's still like, and that it depends on traffic, and then it becomes even more difficult because of all the, oh, did you sign up? Oh, did you sign up online? Did you get this registration number? Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
So.
bureaucratic nightmare.
Yeah. So right now it's the point of just going, okay, we wait. But I think we'll probably end this video here because
But
we've
then
gone.
again, it might get a little bit easier now that Johnson and Johnson has had their vaccine given the emergency okay, and that vaccine is a one hit deal,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be kept at a special temperature.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll cut the video here because we're at 52 minutes.
Okay, well,
So,
stay safe, guys. And if you're in Texas, I still know a lot of us are recovering from that snowstorm in February.
yep.
That was
That
ridiculous.
was fun. It's one of the few times I've ever actually A, used multiple quilts, and B, did not leave bed unless I absolutely had to.
Yeah, but it's like, if you're here in Texas, I know a lot of us are still recovering from that, either needing water and stuff. So I know, be safe, guys.
Yeah,
Wear
but
masks, and also if you're in Texas, please don't listen to the governor and stop wearing masks. The guy's an idiot. Yeah, our governor is being an idiot and taking away the mask mandate.
yeah, well, that's a whole nother situation.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, uh, guess we'll see you in a different video.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.